Hi guys, this is Mark Rockledge. I'm going to give you some instructions on how to make a customized guitar patch, meaning your own guitar sound for your guitar. Okay, let's get into it right now. As you can see on this screen right here, you can use any of the factory settings to customize a guitar patch from if you would like. It's not necessary and you don't have to, so it's up to you if you want to use an existing patch, which means it will have P001 or P, as in this instance, 130, and that's where the that's where the factory patches end. So they go from P001 through P130. Once you get to 130 and you turn the dial on your JS10 one click to the right, you're going to go into your user settings. Okay, I have 42 different user settings in there already that I have already created. So my last patch I've created was called Clean Comp. I gave it that name. If I click one more click to the right, it's going to be an empty patch, which means initial patch. So anything that has initial patch on it with that name, initial patch, that's an empty patch that you can work with. Okay, let's work with this one already. So we're going to go to our amp setting and push amp, and that's going to tell you whether your amp's turned on or off. We want it on. We want it on because we want to make an adjustment to this amp, and we want to turn the dial to get to where we want to go for a particular amp setting. If you want to use your cursor right button to highlight your next thing about the amp, it would be the gain and the level for that amp. Okay, if you push it to the right again, and it will go, each time you push to the right, it will take you to the next screen, and you have so on and so on. You can remember to use your on and off button to turn these settings on or off. Now if you want to make a shortcut to something, push your exit button once, and it will bring you to this screen. And then you'll have your options. See, these are all turned off because I started with a blank patch, so nothing's been created yet. So you can highlight any of these, turn them on, and make your adjustments to create your customized patch. Okay. Once you got all your adjustments made and all your customizations made to the way you like your guitar to sound, and you want to push the menu button right here. So you push that button, it will bring you to this screen. That means write name, and the same as saving. If I push enter next, we will go into that. See, it says patch right. That means write to, meaning where do you want to put this guitar sound? Well, since I already know, U means user. That means you are in the user patch settings. Remember, P was for factory presets that are already in there, through 130 of them. Okay, well this you can create a new guitar patch sound, and we're going to put in 43 because we already checked that it was a empty patch. If you're here already and something else is there, just turn the dial until you get to U 0 whatever, as long as it says initial patch, then you can write to that without overwriting something else you might want to save there. So once you click to the right, you'll bring you down to the naming portion. If you hit the A and B button right here, as I'll show you, I'll press the A and B button in, it will make all those letters disappear. Now we have a blank slate to start with. Okay, we're back where we left off. This is Mark, and where we left off at is the given the patch tone the sound, our customized guitar sound, a name. Now, let's say you made a mistake. Once you got down to here, you can always hit your left arrow back and it will bring you back up here. Once this is, by the way, your guitar patch, this says you, meaning you user. It means your customized guitar patches, not P, which is the factory guitar patches through 130 of them. You can also use those guitar patches, by the way, factory guitar patches, to customize your own guitar patches by making alterations and adjustments to that particular patch you may be using from the factory that came with this JS10 to make it your own. So you don't have to start from a blank slate if you don't want to. But you do have to find a place to write your customized guitar patch to. That is important. So it has to say initial patch in order to know it's empty. You know, that means if I went back with the dial one, click to the left, I'm back to where I left off. I have up to 42 patches I created. Here's number 42, clean compression. But I want to be on 43. That's why I want to write my customized guitar patch to my sound that I had just created. Okay, so now the next step is to right click to bring it down to here. You'll see this alphabet. Okay, this box right here represents your space that it's creating a letter or a number or any type of icon that's in this write name portion for your patch. So once you see a blank space like that, nothing in the box, that means if I turn it right one, it's going to go automatically to capital A. So there's capital A. Let's say your name's Brandon, so we would turn it to capital B. Okay, if I turn it left 2 clicks, it's going to bring it back to a blank space, blank thing. So if I turn it right a couple clicks, we're back on B. Okay, and it shows your alphabet down here, by the way, in alphabetical order. So whatever your next letter would be, you want to use your cursor to the right button, push that, and that will bring you to the next space over from B to write in your correct lettering, which would be R for Brandon. So you've noticed this thing's moving through the alphabet, that little arrow. If that helps you out any, I don't pay any attention to it. I'm just paying attention to what's up here. So BR, okay, we want to create the next letter, which would be, if it's Brandon, we know A follows BR. So after BR would be A, BRA. So what we want to do is go over so we can create another letter by pushing the right button to get it to the next space over. Then we turn the dial and create an A. That's simple. If we made a mistake and we want to erase that quickly, we can just push the A and B button and it just made that A disappear. It's kept the space still there so we can make any adjustments. By pushing these down here, this, by the way, brings you to the capital letters automatically. This one right here brings you to the numbers. So if I push that, it's going to bring me to 0. It's going to bring me, if I turn the wheel, it's going 2, 3, and so on. Now you can turn it past 9 and it's going to give you these things, different signs, dollar signs, whatever. You can use those too. So it's up to you. And you keep turning it to the left or right until you find what you need. You can use small case letters like that, or you can use the large case letters. Keep dialing them through until you get to the large case. Remember, if you ever want a blank in your screen a blank space, remember it's one click to the left from the capital A. So if I want to create a space there, I would leave that blank by going one space to the left of A and then clicking to the right to create that space. And now I can put another letter right there if I want. That's how you create spaces. So I can erase that by pushing A, B, and then left clicking to get back to where we need to be. And then now I can bring up the A if I'm spelling out Brandon. Okay, back where we left off. And we were spelling out the name Brandon. Okay, and let's say we want to call this Brandon's gig. Okay, we want to go one space over because we want to create the next letter or insert after that. I'm going to push this arrow button here to shortcut to. I'm going to go through the numbers first, and past that you will see these different signs. There's the comma that we need there, and then we're going to click to the right with our cursor right button and put an S there. And remember capitals, we hit this button to make capitals. So if I turn it right one click, it'll be on A, and we want to go to S. And if you're wondering where S is, there it is, right before T on there. So either way, you can watch to see it come up here. Either way you want to find your S, just in case you don't know how the alphabet goes. Had too many drinks or whatever the damn case. So there's Brandon's. Now we want to go one space over. We don't want to put a letter there because we want a space, so I click it one more space to the right. Okay, using the right arrow button. So now we've created a space there. Now we can go. Remember, we're already on capitals, so as soon as I start turning the wheel, we'll go through the different letters of the alphabet. So G for gig, G, and then we're going to go one click to the right, and then we're going to put an I there. That's right after H. And then we're going to one click right so we can put another letter next to the I. And then that would be another G. So now it's called Brandon's Gig. G-I-G. We're happy with that name. If you're not, hit the A and B button. You can erase letters and start over however you want to do. It won't save it until you hit enter one more time once you're in this position, the naming position. If I hit enter, boom, it just created that patch. It just saved it for you automatically. And where did it save it for you? If you exit out of there, Brandon's Gig, it saved it in user 43. So that's where it's going to be in my files. It's going to be in U043. That means user. That means your customized files. If it had a P in front, like I said, it would be the factory settings 001 through 130 different settings. You can use those, like I said, to customize your guitar sounds. Just go into your amp and your settings and make your adjustments and call it your own. So now we have Brandon's Gig on my user file, and so if I ever want to find this ever again, all I would have to do is hit the effects button, and it's going to say user patch. I would click to the right to get to those settings, and here it is, Brandon's Gig, right after my clean comp, which was on number 42, user 42. So user 43 is now Brandon's gig. If I go one more dial to the right, you're going to see initial patch, which means I have an empty patch there to work with if I want to create another customization of a guitar sound. So click left out of there. We can go through the categories if we like. You know, you can do it this way too if you want to customize a sound. Just look for the type of guitar you want to customize, the type of sounding guitar. So if you want a blues guitar, you want to click right and work with those and make it adjustments to those settings, just like we made the adjustments to the customized settings. It's both done the same way. No matter which category you pick up guitar sounds, you can customize any of those, even the factory settings, and use them to create your own guitar customization of your guitar settings, sounds. So right now I'm on distortion delay because that's where I last left off. I push effects. I'm on distortion delay. If I went down, if I click to the right and went down to any of these I've spelled that wrong, by the way. Let's go to deluxe boost. If I had put deluxe boost on there and push enter, now we have deluxe boost in there. User, that was my number 5 setting for deluxe boost. And it just changed that input 1 setting that you're connected to right here. Okay guys, so where we left off is creating the name Brandon. I went ahead and called it Brandon's gig. Once you get it to a point where you're happy with where you're going to save that to, and you always want to save it under you. It has to say that, and it has to have initial patch there in order to know it was empty to begin with, unless you're working with a factory setting, guitar setting that's already in there. Then it would have that factory settings name there already, and then you can rename it right here. Once you would right click right here to get to there. So if I keep right clicking, it's just going to go through the letters. Okay, once I'm done with my naming my thing, don't pay attention to this. The square just means it helps you create your name. It's not going to show up on your name itself. You won't see that. That's just a highlighter. Okay, this is a clue. It says enter to write. Write means to save. W-R-I-T-E. Not to be confused with your right finger, your right arm, from your right hand, and so on, or right turn. W-R-I-T with a W. That means like as in writing your name, as in writing a letter. That's the write that we are concerned about. Writing to that location you need to be. Writing your name out. Okay, once you get that completed and you're happy with that, all you have to do next is what it says here in order to write that out, which means to save it at this point. So we hit enter and it automatically saves it. See? So if I exit out and we go to the main screen, you'll see Brandon's gig under user file 43. So if I ever want to find that, all I have to do is push the effects button. It will bring me to my categories, unless I'm already over here to the right, depending on where you left off when you're in the categories. So I can turn the wheel through these different ones. Like I said, you can use any of the guitar settings to the right by clicking to the right and scrolling through them to pick out one that you might want to customize from that. If you don't want to start from a fresh, brand new, empty spot. or empty guitar setting that you would find under your user settings, which will say initial patch is a clue that it's empty. Okay, here's my guitar settings, starting with the first one. If I went to the right and scrolled through it with the dial, it's going to bring me through 42 different settings that I have already entered, and the 43rd one after clean comp will be Brandon's gig. Brandon's gig. That's how you find your settings once you customize them, just in case you want to. Here's another thing that you can do too. Let's say I'm on Brandon's gig and that's highlighted. As long as it's highlighted, I can turn the wheel and I could go right or left. If I went right, it's just going to say initial patch because there's nothing beyond that in my user settings. But if I turn left, it's going to go through all my user patch settings that I created until I get to number 1. User 1, which is distortion delay. If I go left one more click, now it's going to bring me into the 130 different factory settings, guitar settings that already have guitar tone patches made to work with. Like I said, you can alter those as well and use those as well and rename those to make it your own. So that's up to you. Until next time, that concludes our naming and saving your patches correctly. Until next time, this is Mark, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks for viewing. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. Peace.